Good. Good evening, everyone. You're welcome to. This is our time on the chair. There's no couch tonight, and we're reaching you live from Sokoto City in Sokoto State, in the northwestern region of Nigeria, where we've been since yesterday, working very hard to reach out to our people, Nigerian people, letting them know. As I just saw this night, this is something I'm going to share first before we start. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I didn't make it. I think it came from a group called Kabal Moscow, but it's very instructive. Let me just turn it around. What is happening here? Okay, can they see it?
Yes.
See it. This is what Nigerian youths are doing to themselves. So it's like you're pointing two guns to your head, your eyes. Yes, blindfolded, and one of the pistols says Atiku, the other one says Buhari. Whichever one goes off, you're dead. That's where we are. So tonight I have great news to share. One of it is that we had a successful rally in Sokoto today, moving around town. As usual, good reception from the people of Sokoto. It was peaceful. Lightly peaceful. We had an interesting encounter with what Nigerian politics has become. I don't know if you guys saw when we ran into some guys who were completely armed with machetes, bow and arrows, and all kinds of weapons. But eventually they calmed down, realized that we're not PDP or APC, and let us pass. It was a pretty intense moment. We're glad we saw it. We're glad we went through it. So now we are in Sokoto. And second good news and great news is that yesterday we called out to all of you to ask that you help us reach a landmark on GoFundMe. We're at 99,000 naira. Sorry, $99,000 last night, and we needed about $800 and something to reach our goal of 100,000 today. Woke up this morning with a $10 goal, and we want to thank you so much for making it happen. And I'm sure people were watching, and some did amazing on this GoFundMe. I'm going to also quickly rush to GoFundMe now, and just announce those who gave their support and last few hours. That was between the last time we did this and now. So that was something to announce, and some support also came in as usual from the Nigeria account. Zenith Bank. We have someone working on that, so hopefully before the end of this broadcast, which is going to be a short one by the way, because it's been a long day and we're tired. I have to be honest with you, we're really, really tired, and we're heading out to another region starting from December 1st, that is Southeast. But we want to update you and see if you have questions, you have comments, and you have suggestions regarding what improvements we can make in our caravan running across cities in Nigeria. So that's where we are today, and I'm still waiting for GoFundMe to load. Internet here is a challenge in Sokoto. It's been a little bit difficult to broadcast and get internet, and all of this will improve starting from next year. There's not going to be any discriminatory. I think our donation summary just came in, so let me check and read it out to all of you. I think our accountants are working hard to make this happen. So donation summary just came in. It's downloading. Oh, Sokoto, fantastic. So where are we? We're thanking everyone who participated in the challenge. 1,000 persons who are supposed to donate 10,000. We've reached our target of 10 million naira this month. We raised a total of 10,888,055 naira for the one kobo. You're not hearing a lot of claps in background because most of our people are traveling.
Yeah.
Amount raised since last funding event on November 23rd, 2000. Zenith Bank, we raised 342,000 naira. And GoFundMe, we raised $1,589. It's equivalent of 568,862 naira. Oh, that's great. So, GoFundMe, we use FX rate of 358 to $1. Total raise for the campaign to date is 73,070,704 naira 99 kobo. So let's look at the last few donations that have come in through GoFundMe since the last time we talked to you. Mountain Naira, I bought on God's will, Ohecho ya. Sorry there. We donated 900 naira. Kevin Obemudia, 10,000 naira. Etumadu Ajike Ogunsulere, 10,000 naira. Olunuga Adeni Ade, 10,000 naira. Adekomi Sunday Adewumi, 10,000 naira. Elesomi Jesulayomi Godwin, 30,000 naira. Edu Alexander, 20,000 naira, 207 naira. Magodo Osas Anthony, 5,000 naira. Amu Ryan Efe, 1,000 naira. David Moses, 1,000 naira. Ailende Elijah Osamengbe, 10,000 naira. Sheriff Energy Shadu, 20,000 naira. Adebayo Bolahon Ganiyu gave us 300,000 naira. Woo! Oladapo Richards, 10,000 naira. So with regards to GoFundMe, Kumbo Boboy gave us $15. Shimeodo Uche, $454. Ariola Elendu, $10. Famata Abacha, $30. Folake Olalere, $15. David Maje Kodumi, $300. Kunle Oguneye, $50. Adeola Davis, $50. Idowu Henry Ogedengbe, $50. Dave Alegbe, $20. Victor Adefemi, $100. Saib Taiwo, $40. Eleshi Osoeke, $50. Goody Iluebe, $100. Thomas Ladinyo, $100. Grande Giovanni, $50. Yinka Sadiku, $100. Julius Okoje, $20. These are the people that made it possible for us to reach our $100,000 donation mark at this point. So our special donation, 50K and over, special mention is Adebayo Bola Hogani, 300,000, and David Majakundumi, who gave us $300, which is equivalent of 107,400 naira. Thank you so much. So that's from our accounting perspective regarding the donations that have come in the last few hours that made it possible for us to reach that magic number. It's amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for making this a possibility. We continue to need your help. We do really need your help, and in doing so, we're going to keep you updated regarding how we're moving around and how we're changing the narrative in Nigeria, and how we're doing new politicking, and how we're reaching new populations of people who otherwise don't want to vote, who have become disillusioned or depressed or anxious about the future. So many people are disillusioned about the present. Several people are anxious about the future, but most people are depressed about the past. So somewhere in Sokoto today, we met people who said, who are you guys? I hope you're not APC and PDP, because we're tired of them. No, we're not APC and we're not PDP. And we're the new guys, we're the new kids on the block, and you cannot afford to be tired of us, because we have great ideas, we have fresh ideas, we have new initiatives to make this country work and work for all of you and make this country a fantastic place, a livable place, a place where you can get health, education, and live comfortably without having to resort to desperate measures of looking for a way to get out through the Mediterranean Sea, of getting yourself into things that you otherwise would never do, or seeking for salvation where there is none. So that's what we're about. This is what our political party, the African Action Congress, is about. That's our movement is about. That is the Take It Back movement. All of this I've explained to you, described to you, summarize what the future is going to be like, and in ways possible, we have also made them available to you in ways that are very, very consciously understandable. So here we are again in Sokoto, and next we're moving to the southeast. Well, we need your help. We need your help so that we can really, really continue to shake the table, and we're shaking the table. Don't forget, not only do we reach out to a lot of people with your donations, but the people in government, people in power, the political elites who have destroyed Nigeria are also watching. Each time they see a donation, they have skip. They get scared that people are not only discussing them in hallowed chambers, in their living rooms, in beer parlors, on their campuses. They are also doing something about it. This is the first time people are making political donations to oust an order that they truly, truly detest. And that means a lot. It means a lot. It means a lot that they see numbers, they see that Nigerians all over the world are making donations, and at home are making donations. No matter how little you think it is, in 1,000 naira, whenever it is announced on our show, whatever it is sent by the political elites, scares the heebie-jeebies out of them. Because they think you're there to take from them, but to find out that you are giving the little you have so that you can oust them from power, it's something that has never happened before in the history of this country. And we must congratulate you, those who are doing it actively, for doing your best, for giving your best, and no matter how little or how big it is, all of you are equal before the eyes of our movement. And we know that there's somewhere in your heart that is driving you to give to the movement, instead of just using the money to do whatever you could have done with it, which has nothing to do with the movement of this nature. So we appreciate it. We appreciate the numbers, we appreciate the support, particularly considering that, as time goes by, we're getting more support. It's getting bigger, and bigger and better. So, well, don't let us forget to remind you that our goal is to reach $2 million. And we've asked for 400 Nigerians, we mean it, 400 Nigerians to give us $1 million each, so that we can have bulk money to purchase, t-shirts, mobilize people logistically, get hats, print posters, flyers, get buses out there to tell the story in print, banners, and also have billboards, do radio jingles. All of this are the ways we can reach every nook and cranny of Nigeria, especially in those places that we may not be physically present. But we will try to do the best we can to do 100 events between now and February 16th, or whenever election campaigning is stopping. Ensure that we reach everybody. People who say they haven't heard from us from Kwara Namoda in Zamfara State to villages and towns in Bayelsa State, in Ekpaya, in Kwara State, Barutan, everywhere. We want to be able to reach you, either by radio, TV, posters, billboards, banners, or maybe even inside our vehicle, where you hear our community organizers knocking your door. This is the idea. We're doing something that's never been done before. That's what we did with the town hall meetings, and they were really successful. We took every question everybody threw at us, both at home and abroad, answered all of them before we moved to the next stage, which is the visibility that our political party, our logo, and our candidates need. So thank you so much. I'm trying to figure out if there are questions waiting.
Yeah.
Yes, please read the questions to me.
Abel Ebenezer is asking, what do you have to say about the recent increase in salaries in the Nigerian police force by the current government?
We haven't seen it yet, but we know that this is a period for political bribery of, every sector or section of Nigerian populace that they think they can use to deceive people. It's nothing. It's not the first time they would do it. They did it with the trader money. The vice president was seen hawking cash around markets in Abuja and Lagos just to deceive people. We have said it. We don't know how much the salary neutral structure is. We are going to pay 100,000 minimum wage to our workers, and the reason why we actually decided on 100,000 minimum wage is because of the police force and teachers. Those are the two areas that drove us to think about the minimum wage that could become a living wage. And we've said that beside minimum wage of 100,000, every police officer who's risking his life, every soldier who's risking his life, Navy, Air Force officers, civil defense, name it, that's working in the security sector. We also have a life insurance policy that makes sure that if anything happens to them, their families are not left to find themselves, left at the mercy of the vagaries of our economic system and weather, that they're not kicked out necessarily from their accommodation, but they're able to take care of the families they leave behind. Or if they suffer permanent injury or damage to any part of their body, they're there to be, supported by the government. So our government has already figured this out. So if they're giving you any token of salary structure, accept it, but just understand that help is on its way.
Alright, this one says, what's your plan for virtual degrees from virtual universities abroad?
It's to harmonize and ensure that they have legitimacy. There's nothing wrong with virtual universities. Part of our education program includes virtual education as well. People can learn sometimes even better than people who are going to dilapidated classroom. People can learn better online. It's become part of education across the world, the education infrastructure. And we would do a lot at home to even provide more virtual education for our people. Because a lot of people want to go to school, and we are not able at the moment to cope with the demands of these people who want to go to school. So that's not a problem. We just make sure that those we're able to verify that they're legit, and boom, you're in.
So says, good evening, Mr. President. Please, I just want to ask this question. Are you going to visit the southeast of Nigeria?
Yes, that's our next destination.
Okay. No questions for now. Okay.
No more questions. Okay. So now we're going to donations and donations. I want to see if we're still asking if anybody's out there who can afford to donate $1 million naira, not dollars. Well, if dollars, that's even better. If we can get $1 million donated by one person, then we'll just have $900,000 to go more, and we can really dig in. We mean it when we say that with little we can do a lot. We mean it seriously, and we have been able to demonstrate that so far. Whomever has invested in this movement and the presidential campaign of Shore understands very well that we know how to manage little to achieve big. We came into this campaign, we're probably one of the last presidential aspirants, and then eventually candidate came last into the race. Some other ones have been around for 2 years, some a year ago or more now. But we've made the most impact. We created the biggest bank, and you guys are our witness. And we did so with your support and encouragement. and nudging. You have been nudging and nurturing us in this race, and we really appreciate it, especially people from across the world. We're seeing donations now, actually from non-Nigerians, which is amazing as well. So it's been good. We really appreciate you, and we will continue to do what is possible to defeat the old cargoes in Nigeria. I wanted to go to GoFundMe and see if we have any.
We have some more questions.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Larry Oba is saying, "Good evening, Mr. President. What are you going to do about this Empower guys?"
I just found out yesterday that Empower is just for 2 years.
Yes.
Yes. So we would provide something more permanent and more. I think we have some crew members coming and you want to check. More permanent and more available to something that is stronger and better. That's what we mean. Empower is what they devised for the children of the poor and part of the deception of the current political order in Nigeria. And this is not the way it should be, that you provide jobs for your children, you provide permanent employment through the central bank, customs, immigration, and all those lucrative jobs. And when it comes to children of the poor and middle class, you give them Empower, which is only going to last for 2 years. It's a scam. We will look into it, possibly put an end to it and make people migrate those who are into a more permanent position in the 5 million jobs that we're planning to create. Any more questions?
None for now.
None for now. So I'm looking into our GoFundMe account to see who's going to be our first donor tonight on GoFundMe. We don't have direct access right now to our. We don't have direct access to Zenith Bank account right away, but we will get to it soon. So
more questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please elaborate more on the literacy level in the North. How would you tackle this to get them more engaged, sir?
So when we say that we are taking 30 million kids out of the streets, we mean it. And where you feel the impact the most is the northern part of the country. We've had government create nomadic education, Amajiri schools, but you find out that members of the ruling elite in the north don't send their children to Amajiri schools. These schools are discriminatory schools created for the children of poor people so that they can keep them perpetually in that educational system that is subpar. If you look at it, most of the leaders of Nigeria who came from the north, they went to real colleges. I heard about Barewa College, which produced a lot of former head of states. It wasn't a Amajiri school. It was a school, that was, I think, secular in nature, and that provided great class education. You find the children of Buhari, they are not going to Amajiri school, they are going to school in London, right? Children of El Rufai, they're not going to Amajiri school. Children of emirs in this town, and across the north, they're not going to Amajiri schools. We're not instigating anybody against members of, traditional institutions or the ruling elite. We're just educating people to understand that everybody in this country should have a right to go to school. It's, the same schools that their children go to. The members of the political elite in the country. And that's very important for us. And that is why we chose a vice presidential candidate in the north who is a clear example of somebody who went to the law school, went from BUK, he obtained another degree from Leeds University in the UK. And we heard him yesterday, fluently speaking Hausa, speaking English fluently, brilliant guy. His nickname is Bonasera, Dr. Rufai Ahmed Rabiu. And he is a clear example of what education can do to people, real education. And, literacy level here is low, but it's perpetrated deliberately to keep people in ignorance. It's not that it's the case only in the north. We're seeing that across the country, because you see a lot of children hawking bread and pure water in traffic in Lagos. They're not all from the north, and a lot of them are from the southeast, from the southwest. People, they deliberately destroyed education. Even when a special fund for primary education was created, UBE, we only heard about UBA when they're chasing after people who stole the monies meant for buying desk, pen, and providing food for kids. And to make it impossible for people to get UBE even assigned to states, they forced the states to assign a part of their budget for what they call matching grant. When the states cannot do that, they don't get the grants. What do you need matching grant for? If the states are already stealing grants meant for everybody, should release this money and make sure that they are monitored, they are used for the purpose for which they are meant, not political activities. So that's the problem with Nigeria. The moment we bring in this new leadership in the country next year, we will drastically reduce, and you can be able to measure this, the literacy levels in the country across board. And as primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions will provide free education to all. And we have said for university students, because we have to invest in the future, we'll provide study grants of 100,000 per semester. But the only caveat is that when you get that grant, when you're done with school, you work in the public service for 4 years. If you don't, we'll take back. You have to refund the money to us. You work in the private sector.
What are your plans for IDP for Nigerians living in IDP camps?
Is to permanently relocate them back to their villages by making sure that security is provided. There will be a non-discriminatory strengthening of security across the country. Nobody will be above the law, and there won't be privileged individuals who have right to kill. None under our government. We are going to be tough on crime and tough on anybody perpetrating crime, whether they're civilians, state or non-state actors. That is why we have to strengthen our police force so that soldiers can go to their traditional duties of protecting the territorial integrity of Nigeria and not doing policing work or accompanying wives of generals to parties or grocery stores.
Collins Uyaisa says, "Good evening, Mr. President. What are your plans to make sure you correct some lapses going on in Nigeria's immigration, most especially in Nigeria's embassies in diaspora?"
Yesterday one of the things we did was to visit an immigration outpost was that not in Zamfara State?
Yes, Jibia.
Jibia and Zamfara State. And we saw it, our borders are porous. But I know your question is directed at our embassies. One is to streamline all the embassies and make sure that they are made to do the duties for which they're set up. I've lived abroad for 19 years, and you don't need to tell me stories about embassies. The fact that Nigerian embassies are the only embassies they're likely to call on the telephone. Nobody will ever pick up the telephone if you leave a voicemail. If there isn't at all, they'll never call you back. All that will change. A lot of these Nigerian embassies are a representative of the Nigerian state. So whatever you think is wrong with Nigeria is also wrong with Nigerian embassy. In fact, it is so bad that Nigerian embassy in the US, where I lived for 19 years, at the point didn't have an elevator that's functioning, and for a lot of the floors, there's no water running and there's no electricity because they haven't paid their electricity bills. So we fixed all of that and make sure that only people who know what they're doing are sent out to the outpost to represent Nigeria within diplomatic circles and in providing consular services to our citizens and non-citizens who are planning to visit Nigeria. But most importantly, we will strengthen the possibility of getting visa upon arrival so that people who need visa don't have to go waste their time there. And Nigerians who carry other passports can arrive without getting a visa, and when they get home, get a passport on time. We will have to also eliminate the corruption that's going on with passport racketeering at various places where you apply for passports, and making sure that you don't only apply for passports at designated immigration centers in the country, but you can also do it at the post office in Nigeria. So you multiply sources of getting passports and you bring them closer to people. So if you can get a passport by applying at a post office and you can pick it up 2 days later, you go there. If you need expedited service to get your passport, you might have designated, then you might need to go to a designated immigration. But if you need it, If you need power for 2 weeks into, you do it. You can go to the post office near your village, anywhere. But we also have to strengthen this post office services so they can process passport electronically.
Rita Idozi is asking, what plans do you have to make things affordable?
Oh, we have to create an economy that is for all and all inclusive. But most importantly, we said without getting into the production game, you're wasting your time, and you can't get into production without electricity, power, energy. So we have to make power and energy available. You know, I walk around in Nigeria and there are millions and millions of houses, but there are no gas pipelines supplying gas into households. That in itself is an economic agenda there, you know, to just pipe gas to households, cooking gas. That will solve the problem of kerosene scarcity in the country, and you know the price gouging that's going on in selling of kerosene to people, because now every house that meets certain standards, not just any house, will be able to get gas piped into their homes, and then you just need to buy a gas cooker, place it, and somebody set it up, and you have gas, and you can cook all day long. It is funny that a country where people love to cook, I mean really cook, we don't have gas pipes in their homes. That in itself is $1 billion industry, people selling gas to homes. Yeah, and this also will mean strengthening the Nigerian liquefied national gas.
LNG.
NLNG. All right, natural gas. Yeah. So this you know, we haven't gone there at all. Nobody's even talking about this. That we need to provide millions of homes with natural gas or liquefied gas, whichever gas, you know. Now let me go into, because this is something that requires a little bit of expertise that I may not be able to provide right away. But look at that alone, you know, how many jobs will be provided, how that will make the economy. We're still rolling gas cylinders as if we are going camping in Nigeria, 2018. Shame.
Harrison Frank Godson is asking what your plans are for prison reforms.
Prison reforms, you know how I'm going to say it, will empty the prisons, drain this prison of innocent people. First and foremost, a lot of people are in prison who are not supposed to be in prison. There's a lot of awaiting trial prisoners. We went to Lagos prison at the time. We didn't go there, but we had someone go there and found out that a lot of people were picked up on the street for wandering, an offense that doesn't even exist in our laws, and they're just languishing in prison. So it's to process, you know, criminals faster. You know, it includes also strengthening the judicial system, ensuring that when someone is arrested, to get into a national database registry, and everybody that's arrested in Nigeria, within an hour after the arrest, they must be entered into the system, so that if a family member is looking for someone, we can type a search and see which police station the person is arrested or detained in Nigeria. And also, after 24 hours, that these people are made to appear before a judge if they have committed any crime, or they are released generally, or they are granted bail. And after that, we don't have prolonged trial for offenses that should have been processed and discarded with in a few days or weeks. So that would drain our prison of a lot of people, innocent people in particular. And you know what? Those who are not innocent, but who are currently above the law, and who should be in prison, should be the ones in prison.
Hiro Chijioke Onyeberechi is asking, what are your plans for the hospitals?
That's healthcare.
Yes.
We said, and I'm repeating here, 160,000 health workers will be hired for 6 months in office, and these people are going to be found into every nook and cranny of Nigeria, take care of primary health care. We're going to strengthen our hospitals, not necessarily building new hospitals, if you ask me, but ensuring that we provide doctors, drugs, and energy in the hospitals that exist at the moment, provide a universal healthcare system that makes it possible for Nigerians to get a health card so that they can see a doctor whenever they're sick, and, you know, pay our doctors better. more and better, and pay them on time, and attract those doctors that left the country, and also introduce technology into medicine in such a way that, I'm a big fan of telemedicine. A doctor who is not in Nigeria can treat someone who's sick in Nigeria. And a lot of doctors told me they love to be part of this. I mean, doctors who are Nigerians who are currently not in Nigeria. And we provide a universal insurance, healthcare insurance system that allows people who have just little money to buy into, this insurance system, and they can see a doctor of their choice whenever they want. Because sometimes it's great to have public hospitals that are working very well, but it's, that should not also discourage private hospitals that are around. If someone has a more complicated issue than the private hospital can take care of, an insurance company to which they sign or insurance card can take care of that. So these are the plans for health, but again, massive investment in health so that we can eliminate a lot of diseases, especially communicable diseases. I hate to know that we're still dealing with malaria, and if you look at my skin, I've been battered over the last 24 hours by mosquitoes. Sokoto mosquitoes are bastards, but the ones in Kano are even worse. Those ones have no shame. You see a mosquito laying on the fan just having fun, and you're in trouble after sucking half of your blood. That's what I experienced the last few days. I'm hoping that my immunity will keep standing so I don't fall victim of malaria illness in the next few days.
All right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Mark Edu is asking an interesting question. He says, "Good evening, sir. Can you tell us how you..." Mr. Boy is talking about Yahoo Plus guides and all that. I think he's just referring to cybercrime.
Cybercrime is what it is. Cybercrime, right? We already have a cybercrime unit. I think in the police force and also EFCC. These are duplication of efforts. There should be a particular section of law enforcement agencies dealing with cybercrime, and that should be enough. Not, policemen chasing after, cybercrime people as if, it's the only thing to do in town. Arresting people on the suspicion of being cyber criminals because they have a laptop you have never seen before, because they're driving a nice car, and also it will be also to sensitize people abroad that if someone is telling you that they have an inheritance in Africa of $10 million and you want to be part of it, you're probably a criminal too. Don't entertain those kind of emails. But at home, of course, we have to really fight people who are engaging in any form of financial criminality, and ensure that they are put in their place.
Junogwa Twins Off is saying, "Good evening, Mr. President. What are your plans about Nigeria's airline and railway? Because I believe that can create more in the country."
I totally said that we'll create a Nigerian airline when we come into office. I know the reason why I'm saying so. Some people said it's not profitable. It's not this. But imagine number of airlines that are making profit off of Nigeria. But it's bigger than that. It's not about creating an airline. We have to create an aviation hub here in Nigeria that will provide huge opportunities for Nigerians who are going to be working in that sector. It's a multi-billion dollar industry. If you can have a hub like Turkey does now, they have in Dubai. Everybody travels through Dubai to elsewhere. Everybody travels through Turkey. So why is it that we don't have a place in Nigeria where everybody can? And Nigeria is like at the center of the world. We're almost on the equatorial zone in the world. So it's easier to travel from Nigeria to anywhere in the world than it is from several other places in Dubai. If you're coming to any African country, you come to Nigeria from the US, it takes you 9 hours. If you're going to Dubai, it takes you 13 hours from the US to get to Dubai first. So if you come to Nigeria to travel to South Africa, you have cut about 4 hours of travel. instead of going to Dubai. And then we'll take you to South Africa in 6 hours. If you go to Dubai, it takes you 13 hours to get to Dubai, another probably 10 hours to get to South Africa. If you're going from Nigeria to Ethiopia, if you're going from the US to Ethiopia, if you travel directly to Ethiopia, it takes you 13 hours. Right? If you come to Nigeria first, we can take you there also in 13 hours. Right? So I'm just doing calculations. That's why I'm not looking directly into the camera. Like my head is working like a calculator. Right. And if you want to go to South America, places like Brazil, the same thing. You want to go to a lot of African countries. Nigeria is the most central place to be. So we'll create an aviation hub apart from an airline in Nigeria.
All right, Prince Wiz is asking, good evening, sir. What will be your decision on those who have been to Italy and other parts of that country and are suffering?
Well, whatever we can to bring back our suffering citizens, we'll do it. It's part of international diplomacy to make sure that it's not only in Italy. If you think you're suffering in Italy, go to South Africa where Nigerians get indiscriminately killed and discriminated against by xenophobic South Africans. You go to Ghana, Nigerian businessmen are being discriminated against. Nigerians are being mistreated everywhere because practically we don't have a government. I had an experience in Dubai. I was coming from, I think, Australia. Had a hand luggage that weighed a little bit. And they forced me to pay extra. Because, and I could tell I was only the Nigerian departure gate that had this kind of discriminatory practice. When I was going to Australia, I had the same set of bags. Nobody even asked me. They were nicer to me. They said, how can we help you? Do you need help? And when we got to the Nigerian departure lounge on our way back, we found some of the nastiest people, and it's the way they treat us because, these people don't have a government that will do anything to us. If we had government that represent us well, we'll be treated differently.
No questions for me.
No more questions. I'm trying to figure out if...
Rita is saying, great campaign from Dr. Malcolm today. Credits to him.
Yeah, I just said Malcolm did well. Malcolm is in town. Welcome, Malcolm. I haven't seen him yet. But if you get this message and you're watching me, give me a call. So Awosika Dotex Mon just donated $35 on GoFundMe. Thank you. And Harry Ola just donated $100 on GoFundMe. Thank you. So we now have $135 since we started this show on GoFundMe. I don't think anything has come through Sydenews yet. If we do, we'll know and we'll announce it. Trust me. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying true to your commitments. Yeah.
You're asking for a WhatsApp number.
My WhatsApp number is 0818 823 7529. 0818 823 7529. And if you have made any donation through Sydenews since we started and we haven't announced your name, you can announce it yourself and we'll pick it up from there. And if you want to make any pledge between now and the end of the month, if you want to make any pledges that you follow through. A lot of people made pledges that they didn't follow through. We know you, but this is not. We're not going to shame anybody because we don't know what your circumstances are or have been. So if you did and you forgot or you remember, please do redeem your pledges. We want to make a pledge till between now and the end of November. Please do so. We'll really appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone. Do you have any questions?
None yet.
We have some people in the house who are just yawning and plain tired. So no any donation so far. That's according to our accountants who are monitoring the monitoring spirits.
Someone is asking what your plans are on import duty.
Import duties, there won't be waivers for anyone except in special circumstances. We need to collect all our waivers. That's one of the areas where they're killing our economy with waivers. Waivers, no more waivers. So today we have 15 minutes more. We want to see if we can have people making pledges. A lot of questions today. I appreciate it. Now we need help. We need your help. We need your donation to make it through to 2019 February, when we will defeat the old cargos. That's the plan, And I can't do enough. Looking at what Instagram had here today regarding this article at Abubakar and Buhari peace too.
Someone is asking if you have plans to work with Innocent Motors so that we can start assembling our own cars here in Nigeria.
I think they're doing that already. Whoever needs to be motivated, whichever businessman or business idea or innovation we need to take to make Nigeria become a nation that produces a lot will be done. Definitely, we will definitely support ideas that work.
What are your plans for the fiscally challenged in Nigeria?
We answered it several times. We said, make every public building owned by the federal government wheelchair accessible. We will create a situation where people who are disabled, once they are verified, can access grants and support in a social security kind of form. 50,000 per quarter starting with, and so every year a handicapped person will be able to take home about 200,000 naira, which can support. It's not enough, don't get me wrong, but it's a good starting point. Right now, nobody's even talking about our special populations, people who have physical or even sometimes mental disabilities, and they deserve every support there is to give, and we will do so. And also in the employment sector, we said if for every 10 federal sector jobs that are advertised, because we will advertise all jobs, we will make 2 available to persons with such malfunction. Any questions? So,
this one is asking, how will you fix the issue of internet?
Oh, internet is so easy these days. We're just not able to get our internet right because we have given up on doing the regulatory rules that we need to do. So the phone companies are taking us for a ride. You remember on this show months ago, I was discussing how MTN was ripping Nigeria apart, how they were taking monies away without proper accounting, and eventually, after we shouted and shouted, the Nigerian government did now impose fines on MTN, and they want to retrieve back some of that money. So what I would do is not only to retrieve the money back, but make sure that internet in Nigeria is not more expensive than that of America. In the US, with $50 a month, I'm able to get unlimited internet, unlimited text messages, voice, talk. $50. In Nigeria, with $50, you cannot get enough internet in one day. If you're not careful, you can finish $50 in one day just on buying credit. $50 is about 20. No, that's like, is that not? But not even up to 20,000 naira. Yeah, and that can easily finish in one day in Nigeria. So if you are not careful, you can spend $50 every day. You multiply that by 10, you already have 500. Multiply that by 20, you already have $1,000. You divide by 30 days, $1,500 on just buying, phone credits in Nigeria. Topping up, it's crazy. That must end. It must change. Nigeria has the most expensive internet and phone in the world. Any more questions? Pledges. And please share. How many are we now?
467.
Wow, impressive. That's not bad. Anytime I see that, I feel good. So, but this is what you can do. We're at 467.
No more questions.
Okay. If you're not able to make any pledges, you can at least do this for us. Copy our GoFundMe account link and put as your status update today, please. and push it to all your friends. Share it with all your friends. Put it as a status update and share with all your friends. That's our GoFundMe, so that more people, and also copy our Zenith Bank account 100-602-3871 100-602-6871, and paste it as your status update in addition to the GoFundMe link. All right, GoFundMe is gofundme.com/Sowore2019. Thank you on that one.
Have
we
more
have any
questions.
questions? Yeah.
Tari Roberts is asking, Mr. President, how are you going to clear our polluted waters and land in the Niger Delta area?
I've been an environmentalist all my life, in addition to being a human rights activist, a media activist. So I've been clamoring in addition to other things that the Niger Delta environment needs to be completely cleansed of pollution, of a lot of things that destroy the environment, and also cleared of practices that are not in accordance with global practices by oil companies who are mostly not from here, including local ones. We have to introduce a pollution tax, that are geared towards ensuring that people who are likely to pollute the environment pay taxes that can be used to clean up the environment, even when their companies are no longer in existence. So this will make them sit up, and the more you pollute, the more your premiums go up. The more your taxes go up, and we'll find a way of finding this out. But for the places that have been polluted already, we have to, according to what the United Nations did, spend the amount of money required. Some of them that has been set aside and put aside already in cleaning Golden Land and other parts of the Niger Delta region. Not cleaning with cutlasses or rakes. That's not how to clean the kind of pollutants we have there. Some of them are so toxic that they require expert intervention, and we must bring in all that is needed to pollute the areas. To clean up the pollution that has happened. There's been a lot of interventions, but it's usually lip service and eye service. We will stop that. So I know where we have pollution, we know what is polluting Niger Delta region, and we know how to ensure that the cleanup is done. I won't say more than that, so that I'm not accused of scaring foreign investors. No, it's not about scaring them, it's about making them accountable and responsible.
Who is going to be in charge of the power sector in Nigeria? Is it going to be government or is it going to be private?
People talk about power sector or any sector as if the moment government hands off, everything will be all right. What we discover about the power sector in Nigeria is that even when the government is handing off, the power sector people that bought the discos, as they call them, are all benefiting from government largesse. In fact, most of them are people who are in government, or government people who are using. All right. So we have 5 more minutes, and sorry for that breaking transmission. It was overheating of our device. So, luckily enough, we got some new cameras, and that's been helpful. Otherwise, these problems were even more rampant before I traveled the last time. Thank you for those who make all this possible for us to get new equipment and gadgets all the time to do what we do in a very, very affordable manner. Especially because the mainstream media has made it impossible for us to know that there are more than 2 people or 2 parties running this election. They've decided, because of compromises that they make, some of them for reasons of, for economic reasons, business decisions, not to report, on other candidates as constitutionally mandated. It's constitutionally mandated that the media in Nigeria must report all the sides that are engaging in campaigns or election seasons. So not only are they not doing their duties to society, they're also violating the law of the land, as it is known today. So, but we understand that. But through Facebook, through social media, we've been able to reach you all, and we're happy that you're engaging and connecting with us. Without fear, we say shame on the mainstream media for not doing their duties, not engaging in social responsibility actions to correct the ills of this society by focusing on younger and fresher candidates who have ideas that can lift this country out of poverty and despair. So, having said that, we have 2 more minutes to go, and you can make your pledges, you can make your donations, and I'll check to see if our accountants have any updates for us regarding how we are doing today.
Someone is asking, is your presidency going to be looking into space exploration?
Possibly, yes. Why not? We have already done some space work, but it's become a conduit for corruption. So we'll do real one this time around. But hey, if you ask me, if we're going to the space, I want to conquer poverty first on the ground, and then so that our people can even look in the skies. I haven't done that for a long time because they have been bending their heads down, facing down for a long time. People can't even afford to look straight. So, but you know what I mean. It's something that we'll probably do. I mean, proudly do as soon as we can afford it. But when you hear space exploration in Nigeria these days, somebody is planning to take money out into the space. Yes. Yes, so I think having said that, we can start to wrap up. It's 9:59 p.m. West African time, WAT. And we just have a minute. If you have one more question and a pledge donation, please feel free to share with us. I'll be here.
It's an interesting question. It says, hello, Mr. President. Will you put a stop to polygamy in Nigeria as a means of controlling our population?
Polygamy? We have to look at the laws of the land. I personally don't think it should be the business of government to regulate, how many people, how people conduct themselves privately. But instead of putting an end to polygamy or, legislating on polygamy, probably we'll discuss population control in a meaningful way. That's something that's more meaningful than trying to legalize monogamy, and then you end up with a lot of illegitimate polygamies happening on that ground. So it's a topic for another symposium discussion in the future. Thank you so much, everyone, and it is time. It's 10 p.m. here. I want to wish all of you good afternoon in the US and good evening all over Nigeria. Good night in China and Australia. I think maybe Australia is good morning at this time. Wherever you may be in the world, we're here. It's our time. And thank you so much for doing what you do, for the campaigns, for calling your people, for knocking on doors. We will make this happen. We will have and create a new Nigeria come next year, regardless of what they think. Thank you, and good night from here.